When opening the map, you will see all monitoring stations that are depicted by the labelled icons. The white border shows generally where industrial activities are located in Swanbank and New Chum. The network has three types of stations. Wind stations measure wind speed and direction. Weather stations measure various meteorological parameters such as wind speed, wind direction, temperature, humidity, and barometric pressure. And air monitoring stations measure key odour-related parameters such as hydrogen sulfide, H2S, ammonia, NH3, and total volatile organic compounds, or VOCs. In the top left-hand corner, you can see the selected parameter and the time and date of the data being viewed. If the dot is flashing green, this indicates that you are viewing data in real time. If you click on the dot and select a previous date and time, the dot will change to orange, indicating you are viewing historical data. To go back to real time, simply click on the dot again. At the bottom, you can also use the scroll bar to view the data from the last 24 hours. Note that if you scroll to a previous hour, it will change the dot back to orange, indicating that you are viewing historical data. Again, just click the dot to return back to live data. Live weather data, including temperature, wind direction, speed, rainfall, and humidity, can be seen at the top right-hand corner of the map. Wind or weather stations are identified by the icons with blue arrows. The arrow indicates the wind direction at that station, and the number in the middle represents the current wind speed in meters per second. To view the live data for a station, click on the icon. This will bring up a panel at the bottom of the screen showing the current parameters that are monitored by that station. It will also tell you how many stations you are currently viewing. Some wind or weather stations may also collect additional parameters as the network expands, so you may see other parameters in addition to meteorological data for some stations. To view a graph of the data, simply click on the station's data and it will show you a graph of the selected parameter. You can select one or multiple parameters as well as adjust to the time period you wish to view using the drop-down on the right. Air monitoring stations are identified by the icons with the pink dots. The number in the middle represents the live reading of the selected data. For example, the selected parameter is currently hydrogen sulfide, or H2S, so it is showing the live reading of hydrogen sulfide. It's important to note that the live reading is not typically used for identifying nuisance or health impacts. Averages are typically used to account for exposure time and associated risk. You can learn more about this in the Interpreting Data part of this tutorial. To view the live data for a station, click on a pink icon. Again, this will bring up a panel at the bottom of the screen showing the current parameters that are monitored by that particular station. The panel will show a live reading as well as a time-weighted average for each of the parameters. To view a graph of the data, again, click on the station's data and it will show a graph of that selected parameter. You can select one or multiple parameters as well as adjust the time period you wish to view using the drop-down on the right. To compare a particular parameter across multiple stations, select the parameter you want to view from the drop-down menu in the top left-hand corner. Click on at least two or more air quality stations that you wish to compare, and it will bring up a panel at the bottom of the screen that will show the live reading of the selected stations. To compare data on the graph, click on the data from the stations you wish to view, and it will show a graph of the selected data. You can adjust the time period you wish to view by clicking on the drop-down on the right-hand panel. If you click on another station and no additional data appears, this means that that station selected does not currently measure that parameter. To change the parameter you wish to compare, simply change it in the drop-down in the top left-hand corner and select the air quality stations again. When viewing data from a station, it is important to look at the averages carefully to interpret the data correctly. Time-weighted averages, which means the average reading over a certain time period, are used when considering potential for nuisance or health impacts to account for exposure time and potential risks to community. When viewing data from a station, the time-weighted averages shown are reflective of the time-weighted averages that are used as thresholds for nuisance or health. For example, we have a 30-minute average and a 24-hour average for hydrogen sulfide, as these are the time averages specific to hydrogen sulfide. Ammonia has a 10-minute and a 1-hour average, as the thresholds are different for ammonia. The time-weighted averages that we use for considering nuisance and health vary based on the parameter, so it's important to view the correct average for that parameter. For more information about the threshold indicators used for each parameter, you can visit our webpage.